represents people or nations. A woman represents the church. The time prophecies of Daniel and Revelation were also given in symbolic language, with one prophetic day representing one literal year. So one reason why it's important to understand prophetic symbolism for our faith is because once we know that everything in the Bible is true, once we know that yes, this is something that it's promised, this is something that is definitely going to come, it's a way for us to strengthen our faith, because we know that at the end of everything, it will not be in vain. It means that all this work that we are doing, it's not just because, or maybe we can, or maybe because we are unsure whether God is coming, but we want to be on the right track. It means that we are sure that we are going to get to a place, we are going to be in that new heaven, that new earth, where there will be no sorrow, where there will be no troubles, where there will be no depression, where there will be nothing. And that's one thing that we have to hold on to. And I think the other thing, it's important for our faith because we can also help others, to essentially understand like the gravity of everything, and for them to like draw closer to God as well. Because if you love someone else, if you love your neighbor as you truly love yourself, you want them to get to heaven as well. You want them to enjoy. You wouldn't want them to suffer in hell. And I think as Christians, we really have to understand that there is nothing good that can ever come from thinking that, oh, it's just hell or it's just this. That's really not the case. And one thing we've learned is that this generation has really like downplayed hell and everything, but that's not how it's meant to be. That's not what the Bible is trying to tell us. It tells us that it's a very scary time. And also it means that someone was talking about it yesterday that, at some point, like some of us can be scared of like raptures coming. But what these two topics are trying to tell us is that we shouldn't be scared. And if you're feeling scared, it means that you know that there's something that you have to change. It means that you know that there's something that you're not doing right. And it's important that you seek the grace and you pray as well for God to guide you and make sure that you're able to, fix everything in the time where Jesus would come. And the other thing as well is that essentially, it's very important that we are firm as well in our faith, because we have to know how we ourselves will be on the day of judgment. Are you going to be able to actually stand in the face of persecution when they say, are you going to claim Christ? You have to be able to say yes, because the things that happen to those that claim Christ, it's not something that's easy. Those people, they'll be persecuted. They will be beheaded. We might be thrown in jail. We might be thrown in prison. They might not feed us. They might put us with beasts and everything. And you have to be aware of that. You have to be prepared for that. And that's exactly what Revelation does. So I hope we've all been able to get something from these two lessons. And so I'm going to call the next speaker.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody. I hope you've all been following. If you've been following, let me see your hand. Okay. So now, we're going to the next lesson. And I hope we've all downloaded our Sabbath school, the Sabbath school apps on our phones. I hope we've all downloaded the Sabbath school apps on our phones. Please let's ensure to download it. Now, when's this lesson? The 2,300 days of Daniel 8:14. Let's open our Bibles to Daniel 8:14. Let somebody read it for us. Daniel 8:14. Who wants to read? Daniel 8:14.
And he said to me, for 2,300 days, then the sanctuary shall be cleansed.
And he said unto me, unto 2,300 days, then shall the sanctuary be cleansed. So, we're looking at the story of a man named William Miller. And what he did was very, very significant as to how people viewed the second coming of Jesus Christ. What happened was that he read the Bible, the book of Daniel 8, Daniel 9. Like we said last week, Daniel was also a prophetic book, just like the manner of Revelation. So most of us only know that Daniel was, Daniel in the lion's den, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. But there was more to that in Daniel. Daniel was also a prophetic book. And we looked at what he prophesied about. So, William Miller saw in Daniel 8:14, he saw this exact scripture and said, he thought that the cleansing or the sanctuary being cleansed was when the world was actually going to end. So, he propagated that. He told people, 1844, October 22nd, that's when Christ is going to come. And with that, people sold their lands, sold everything they had to prepare for that day. Unfortunately, something else happened that day. Jesus did not come. They waited 12 a.m., 1 p.m., 8 p.m. They were waiting. Christ did not come. Now, we're going to look at what really happened on that day, and how it relates to the book of Daniel. Now, William observed that events predicted by the prophets were precisely fulfilled. He saw that, the 400 years that the children of Israel were going to spend in the wilderness had been fulfilled. He saw that